Aloha fam, on today's Heavy Metal Garage and Gym, I've got a review for a product. So this is a tubeless tire. It's the Goodyear Eagle F1R. This is a brand new product. It just came out in May. So as soon as I got the email for it, I was interested. I love the American branding. Obviously Goodyear being a famous American brand based out of Ohio. They've just recently gotten into bicycle tires. I actually have ridden the initial version of this tire, so the Eagle F1R is an updated one. It is a brand new product. I'm going to walk you through some of the differences that I've noted and then give you some of my initial takes. I've got about a few hundred miles on the clock on these tires so far. I've ridden them several times. Obviously the bike is clean. I'm really excited to present this bike to you. This is my 2022 Specialized Allez Sprint. It's got Hunt Limitless Aero 65 wheels on it. So I put aftermarket wheels on it right away. And again, this is my first set of carbon fiber rims. I'll talk to you about the sizing. I'll talk to you about initial takes in terms of performance on these things. These are the 32 millimeter tires, so they come up to 34 millimeters. Obviously, in the beautiful transparent sidewalls, those tan wall tires that are it's just a beautiful aesthetic to come with it. So I'm going to talk to you about some of that. Obviously, I was intrigued. Goodyear is relatively new to bicycle tires. Famous brand, American brand out of Ohio. Obviously make automotive tires and everything else, but they're recently new into bicycle tires. So I'm going to talk through some of that. I love the aesthetic of it. That's kind of what got me into it. No apologies made for that. I love just the rude American branding. They look like NASCAR tires on a bicycle. Fascinating concept to me. They also are very, very impressive. I'll just give that as a preview, but let's bring it in close, and then I'm going to talk to you, give you some update in terms of like what's new between the original Goodyear Eagle F1s and the Goodyear Eagle F1Rs. I've noticed a few differences in the products. I'm going to talk to you about that as well as my initial impressions. So let's come in close and let's take a look through the differences. So what I've got here, this is the original Eagle F1R, and this is a 30 mil version, but this is the original generation of this tire. And so one of the differences I've noticed is that the sidewalls appear to be, colored this gum-like color, right? So this is supposed to be, it basically was given an artificial color to match the natural rubber casing. Obviously that's different on the tire that you see mounted on my bike. But again, there's just a few construction differences that I've noticed just in terms of like the way that the actual carcass appears to be weaved. I'm not a tire expert, I'm gonna put that out there, but those are some of the differences. This is a different tire. You can tell that there's a few things that they changed in the way they make these tires. So this is not just something that they elected to put a brand new logo on and charge a little bit more for it, because it doesn't actually appear that it's more expensive than it was originally. This tire actually, I had some pretty bad luck with its the pair that came with it. This tire itself is the good one, which is why I kept it. I had one that immediately started bleeding through the sidewalls on the very first ride, and it was barely able to limp home. Again, in tubeless configuration, it was really unfortunate. It was just a manufacturing defect in the tire. So far, these tires are holding up really, really nicely. So I'm going to step out of the way a little bit and just kind of talk through it. They're extremely grippy. The grip on these is better. I've noticed that just to the feel when you touch them, they're stickier, and that kind of translates really nicely out on the road. So the grip is superb. I think the world of these tires. You can really rail corners on these things and feel confident, especially on 32s. 32s are a beautiful way to ride on the road. I think that's just a really, really good width. Again, for any aero differences that you may not, if there's any aero differences between 32s and maybe 28s or skinnier tires, I certainly can't tell on the road, and I've been on some pretty fast rides in these tires, and they felt superb. So if you're hesitant about going to big fat tires, make sure your frame can accommodate. But as far as this Specialized Allez Sprint, it's advertised to take up to 32. So this is the max advertised width, and I'm pretty sure I could put the 34s on with no problem. As you saw from the earlier zoom-ins, there's plenty of room on there. So I think this is a really good setup here. And I'm really impressed with this tire overall. Again, there's just rude aesthetics. This Goodyear Wingfoot logo is awesome. The tire seems to perform really nicely. As far as the width on it, so they're spec'd at 32, and I measured them between 31 and 31 to 33 millimeters. So a little bit of variation on that. I think that there's some, you know, out of true. They're not perfect, in other words. So don't expect that they're going to be exactly to the width. And again, because these are the Hunt Limitless Aero 65 wheels, the internal width of 21 millimeters may affect the final shape of that tire. So if you put them on a rim, let's say that had 19 millimeters internal width, that may change the way this tire actually inflates. So I would say results vary, so don't expect to be millimeter precise on these, but it's been so far a really impressive tire with a few hundred miles, including some very, very fast miles. I've ridden in the dry, I've ridden in the wet. And again, the difference to me, the principal difference and the reason why this is a better generation than the previous is the grip. So again, riding through the wet weather grip, at no point did I feel like I was out of control with it. In fact, the rain was just, you know, something annoying in your face, and trying to keep your glasses clear is the biggest thing, but you're not worried about your tires. So you can put that one away. These things roll, they roll smooth, and they grip very, very well. So, all right, so in summary, this has been, I've been impressed right out the box. With a few hundred miles, the grip is superb. The price is right on par with other tires, and the branding is just on point. I love the aesthetics of it. It looks beautiful. It rolls beautiful. 32 millimeter wide tires are awesome on the road. They eat up all the bad pavement, and you will just be floating on a cloud. I am a 250 pound rider, and I ride at 60 psi, and that seems reckless. And it would be on tube tires. But on tubeless, it's just right. So I got 2 ounces of sealant in either tire. They didn't hold air perfectly of the first night of setup. It took several weeks to get them to where they weren't bleeding a ton of air down, but now they've got them to where they only lose a few pounds each day. I still air up before every ride. That's just a tubeless thing. You got to make sure that your pressure's on point. But if you can do that and you're up to the hassle with tubeless tires, this is a really, really good option. So I've been impressed. Good job, Goodyear. Keep up the good work. And I'll follow up. I hope to do a late model review. I really hope to get like 2,000 miles out of these tires. When they get to 2,000 miles, I'm probably going to do like a final review. And if they get there, I'm certainly going to be a fan, because that's a lot of miles for a 250 pound rider that's just thrashing pavement no matter how good or bad that it is. So I've been impressed. I wanted to put this out there. So thoughts, opinions, let me know. Again, Firestone, are you paying attention? I want these American brands to get into making tires too, because I think the aesthetics of them are beautiful. I want more NASCAR looking tires on road bicycles. So that's all for now. Aloha Heavy Metal fam, and I'll talk to you soon.
Click like, subscribe, let the right one in.